Hi everyone, my name is Andrea Raymond and I wanted to share my hip dysplasia journey with you all. I was diagnosed at 35 with hip dysplasia. I didn't have problems when I was a kid. I was very, very flexible, like a gymnast, and had really noisy hips. They clicked and popped and all that. They were very musical, but didn't have any problems with it. When I was in my mid 30s, I started to have a lot of problems with my ankles and instability in my ankles and problems there that we now know have to do with coming from the problems in my hips. Anyway, when I was 35, it got to the point where I started to have kind of this nagging pain in my left hip, and then it just got more and more, and it became relentless. It hurt when I would sit, it hurt when I stand, it would hurt when I walk. And so I decided I should probably go see someone. I went to see a local hip surgeon, and I was very fortunate because he had just done a fellowship with one of the top hip preservation surgeons in the world. So I was diagnosed immediately on that first visit. And to be honest, I was in complete shock. I had only heard of babies and dogs having hip dysplasia, not 35-year-old women. Extremely active. I would run 5 miles before work. I would work all day. I would go to the gym and lift weights. I was in some of the best shape of my life when I was diagnosed. And so when I was told I needed to have the PAO, and have my pelvis broken, I was like, you guys are crazy and no way. So I went a little bit different route than some. I decided after doing physical therapy and steroid injection that I was just going to do the labrum. So I had the labrum repaired first. Compared to all the other surgeries I've had, that was kind of nothing. I was on crutches for not even 2 weeks, and I was back to running and weightlifting within about 2 months. He told me it wouldn't last, and it didn't. I think I made it about a year until the pain was back. I had retorn my labrum, and the arthritis had started to set in. So I was sent to see the hip preservation surgeon, and I had to wait 6 months for my first surgery, which was brutal. It was good because you have time to prepare and you want to take that time to prepare, but it was hard because I limped so much during that time. Like I wore the heels of my shoes down. I did as much to prepare as I could, and that was all great. I had my first surgery, my left PAO in 2017 in the fall, and then my right hip had become very symptomatic by that point. So I scheduled my right side to be done about 8 months later in May of 2018. And I had my left screws taken out at that time. But what I didn't know was that my left side hadn't healed all the way, and I had non-unions. So unfortunately, I was one of those people in that very small percentage of that complication where the bones didn't heal. And actually 2 of the 3 cuts did not heal for me. So my recovery from my right side was pretty difficult because I had non-unions. So my pelvis was very unstable. I had to use a cane after that surgery, and that was hard. My last one, I was able to lean off my crutches, and, I was like, I got this. But it was a much longer road. So I found out I had non-unions after my right side was completed. And I ended up finding out I also had a spinal condition where I have instability in my spine. So the vertebrae have slipped over each other. It's called spondylolisthesis. It's not that uncommon to have that with hip problems as well, but it makes things a little more complicated. So about 6 months after my second PAO, I went to see a trauma surgeon, and I had my non-union repair. So I had 2 plates put in the ischium and my pubic ramus, and I had bone graft taken from a couple places and placed in there. I spent about 4 days in the hospital and 3 months on crutches. It finally did heal. My right side slowly but surely healed as well. So my advice and recommendations for you after sharing the story is that you can do this. You will get through this. Everyone's journey is different. So it can be very isolating and you can feel very alone. It was also very hard to have the loss of independence and to have that taken away from you. But I really recommend reaching out to others for help. So think about your social media, the Facebook groups for hip dysplasia, the Miles4Hips Foundation. Reach out and leverage those other people and those resources, because we've been there and we know at least somewhat what you're going through. And also remember that, again, everyone's journey is different. So you're going to see people who have these amazing, like, superhuman recoveries, and you're thinking, I'm still taking pain pills, or I can't get off crutches, or, I want to be out there running too. And so everybody's different, and you're going to get there, and we're all going to get there in our own time. I will also say that let people help you. I've never been good at letting people help me. I want to do everything all the time, all by myself. I'm almost like a toddler. I can do it by myself. But you can't always do it by yourself, and it's okay to let people help you. It's hard not being able to fix yourself something to eat, or drive yourself to get something to eat, or I couldn't even put my own socks on, or put lotion on my foot, and I'd have to ask for that. But it's okay. And remember that physical therapy is super important before surgery, after surgery, and it's going to be a lifelong part of those of us with hip dysplasia. It's something that we have to do to keep ourselves strong and aligned forever. Hang in there. Chronic pain is difficult, and my hips feel so much better than they did before I had my PAOs, but I still have pain. And I have a lot of pain in my back, and I'm facing a spinal fusion, and it just kind of feels like, is this ever going to end? And I don't know, but I do know that I can do a lot. I do spin classes almost every day. I lift weights. I do run a little bit. I lead a very active life, which kind of makes the chronic pain harder, because people look at me and they see, someone who's fit and strong and takes good care of myself, and they don't see the pain that I have every day. And it's okay, we're all going to be there together, and there is hope for hips. And if there's anything I can ever do for you, my email address is available, and I'm happy to help if anyone needs someone just to listen. So thank you for letting me share my story. Bye.